A dangerous situation there in Long Beach. In fact, take a look. See that building right there? It wasn't there yesterday. That apparently is a police post that had been on the beach, but with all the tide and the surf and everything else, it has driven it into the boardwalk.
Did you see behind Laura? There were still joggers there too.
You know what? It's almost like the streakers at professional football and baseball games. You don't want to show them. You almost don't want to show them because these people are so stupid. You're afraid someone else might go on and emulate it. But we saw one behind your brother, John, on the boardwalk. Another one behind Laura Engel. People are out there jogging this morning at high tide, mind you.
You know, and those are the kind of people who Chris Christie yesterday, when he had his 4:30 news conference, he said, "Get the hell off the beach. You're tan enough." You know,
you're fit enough in this case. You're in shape, okay?
You've exceeded your tanning hours there.
Oh, my goodness. Look at that. That's a parking lot. Those people who did not move their vehicle, well, you can see some live trucks. They drove there.
You would assume people didn't move their vehicles because they weren't in town. I guess that would be a decent assumption.
There's somebody carrying a child into the water. Just to the left of the, it looks like the guy in the orange shirt is carrying a child, I believe.
Looks like right there, right in the middle of the intersection. Appears to be carrying something. Yeah, a couple of cars soon to be washed away. Let's bring in our chief meteorologist, Rick Reichmuth, who is watching with us. Rick, we know high tide right now.
Let's look more at that picture again, because I think what you're seeing happening with that picture, that live shot you were just seeing, is the storm surge is coming on. The storm surge comes on very quickly. So, you know, you're watching the waves, especially that satellite truck that you're looking at there. Satellite truck knows better than to park his truck right there in some place that's taking water on. But if it comes on very quickly. So the storm surge, a storm is so close to the coast, and the majority of a storm surge is very, very close and tightly packed to the center of the storm. We're seeing the storm surge come on, coinciding with high tide, and all of that has risen. That water has risen there very quickly. Guarantee you that satellite truck would not be there if he could slowly see that water rising.
How that storm surge comes on so quickly. Does it move out just as quickly, or will this stick around and continue to build even though high tide just passed?
Great question. No, it does not move out that quickly, because even though the center of the storm is going to move inland very quickly, farther to the north, actually passing through New York City. But there is still that same southerly wind is going to continue to pummel water into there. So the majority of it is moving in right now, but there is still that flow that is going to keep it from receding very quickly. So it is not going to recede as quickly as it comes on shore here.
And we should point out, this is a parking lot. It's not, you know, it's adjacent to Fire Island, and it is amazing just to watch the waves come through. Hey, Rick, also crossing the wires right now, according to the National Weather Service, isolated tornadoes possible in New York City and the region over the next couple of hours. That is to be expected when you have crazy weather like this.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I think that more of the tornado threat is now farther towards eastern Long Island and parts of Connecticut. But, you know, I got to tell you this, the latest from the National Hurricane Center coming in right now, and their official statement says that the center of Hurricane Irene, still a hurricane, is nearing New York City. So we're going to be talking about a landfalling hurricane, the lowest point of pressure, very near New York City, maybe towards Brooklyn, maybe JFK. But the official forecast says nearing New York City, which is very hard to
When are we talking?
That's a statement saying right now, and actually the official location is 40 miles southwest of New York City, but it is moving faster now, around 25 miles an hour, which means even by the time they have that statement, we're going to be talking about the center of it coming kind of right by here within the next few minutes. But these pictures, quite dramatic, as you're seeing the storm surge, high tide, and the waves all coming in at the same time right in Long Beach. For people who don't know where Long Beach is, that's one of the nearest in beaches that people from New York City go out to on the weekend and have their weekend homes. And a lot of people live there who come in and work in the city. So this is, you can get here in 45 minutes on a train. And that's what they're dealing with right here.
And Rick, you're looking at a big pile and you can see another pile back there in the distance of sand. One of the things that they've been worried about here, not only in the New York City area, but Jersey Shore and elsewhere, is beach erosion. And those things are about 15 feet tall, but Irene has been working on them. And as you can see right there, the shot of the now portable police station that banged up against the boardwalk. This surf is absolutely pummeling that region.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's not a beach now. That's ocean now.
Yeah.
And that used to be beach. And it costs a lot of money. They put a ton of money in repairing these beaches after you get a regular nor'easter or any kind of storm that comes up here. But this is going to cause a big toll across all the beaches of Long Island, not just right here in Long Beach, but this is going to be extending. Pictures like this are going on the entire 110, 120-mile length of the island.
Yeah, you talk about the money it's going to take to rebuild. These are states that are broke. New York, New Jersey, these are not states that have that are in great fiscal situations right now. Rick, earlier we were talking about that shot of that parking lot. Is that a situation where the ocean could, in that case, meet the bay if it continues at that rate?
No, I think there's, at least right here in Long Beach, you've got a pretty good distance before you get to the other side of the bay. Where I think you might be talking about, though, is a little bit farther west of here when you're talking about places like the Rockaways, which that little spit of land that sticks out there is not as wide as it is right there in Long Beach. But I tell you what, when we started seeing this picture where Laura Ingalls started out here about 5 minutes ago, and you look at this now, there is significantly more water than there was then.
And this is why the officials say don't get out there and don't go jogging on the boardwalk, even though you may be training for the marathon.
Although, Juliet, the guy in the center of the screen right there, you can see him. He's wearing a helmet.
If we could lose the banner maybe for a second.
That guy right there, he was wearing a helmet.
Yeah, those guys are officials that are out there making sure everybody's okay, not like the jogger who was going by in a tank top.
That is some crazy surf out there.
All right. Wonder what it's looking like. Thank you very much, Rick. Where Mike Tobin is, he has the barometric watch. We know that. But what's going on there? It looked like it was starting to get a bit flooded, and I'm sure it's probably continuing.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing the wind picking up here, Juliet, and seeing a lot of water coming in. If you look behind me here, this parking lot, of course, was dry yesterday, and the edge there where you see the water coming past that guardrail, that marked the edge to the beach, which had about a 4-foot drop and about 20 feet of beach behind it. Now all of the water is coming in right now. The wind gusts are picking up. I haven't clocked anything beyond 25 miles per hour. So we're not really seeing those big hurricane force winds at this location, but it's definitely getting stronger as we get these reports that the eye is getting closer and closer to this area. To give you an idea where we are, we're very close to JFK Airport. Now you look out on the main drag here. This is the Cross Bay Boulevard, all of it filled with water. Those dump trucks are there to close off the causeway. That's to keep people from going out to that area called the Rockaways, or Rockaway Beach. There are a lot of people who elected to ride out the storm out there on those barrier-type islands. We heard earlier that they were just going to be stuck out there. We have seen evacuations taking place. Emergency vehicles going out there. Also had some buses that went out there and picked people up. They've been bringing them to a local high school. Now you see one of the emergency vehicles, New York Police wrecker going out over across the causeway. Quite a drive in that wind those guys have ahead of them right now. They're going presumably to help with some of the vehicles that may be trapped out there, do some kind of work, or they're just going so they can drive a very heavy vehicle like a wrecker as they're going across. Got reports in the Queens area of about 21,000 people without power. Not that significant considering the size of this storm, kind of a small number. As far as further out on the barrier islands, we've heard that the Long Island Power Authority, what they are reporting right now is that they voluntarily shut down a lot of that power, in part because a lot of what we heard from the mayor yesterday, that if the water is coming in, the salt water comes into the cables that are in the ground, the situation just becomes much worse if there's hot current running through that at the time. So we're looking at a lot of water coming in. The wind is picking up as we're hearing and looking at the radar images showing that the eye now is somewhere in this vicinity. Guys?
All right, Mike Tobin live at Howard Beach, New York, where the water is rising. Thank you.
Coming up next, incredible pictures coming in right now from Long Beach, Long Island. What you're looking at right now, that was a parking lot just a couple hours ago, still is, but it is under a lot of water and more is coming by the minute. We'll go back there worse, as you can see every second.
That car is toast.
Toast.